60 Minutes with Angela starts right now.
In Bola Tinubus' case, I think there is a feeling that he's a political acquisitionist. He wants to appropriate so much and too much to himself in a way that he becomes the single most powerful man, probably nationally.
Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajitmobi. Thank you for joining me on the program today. As the debate rages on about whether all is well in Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress APC, many eyes are focused on the drift between the national chairman of the party, John Odige, and the national leader of the party, former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubus. Following the emergence of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Rotimi Akeredolu, in the APC primaries, which produced him as the candidate of the party in the forthcoming November 26, 2016 governorship elections in Ondo State, the former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubus, called for the resignation of the national chairman of the party. And that's where my host today comes in, a former deputy editor of This Day newspapers, published here in Nigeria by Leaders and Co. He'll be giving me his take on the Ondo elections, the brouhaha within the APC, and of course chipping in his little bit about Patience Jonathan, former First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So join me after the break. I'm counting down 60 minutes with Eddie ODIVWRI, former deputy editor of Nigeria's This Day newspaper. Welcome back. Welcome, Mr. ODIVWRI. Thank you very much for coming back on 60 Minutes with me.
Thank you.
Right, Nigeria just celebrated her 56th anniversary of her independence. What are your thoughts about this country at this time, under this administration, where we are at now?
It will be a mixed bag of hope saddled with lamentation. And that derives from the fact that we are not where we are supposed to be. As a country, 56 years, yes, may look small, but it should give a strong indication to where we are going and where we are headed. My little column on it was 56 steps to a far country. If the country we are expecting to have,
yes, it's still very far.
It's still a distance from where we are. And it is a little more painful because if we do national comparison, some countries with whom we started this journey about the same time, Singapore, Malaysia, we've gone far more than where we are. In fact, some have even moved very clearly from third world to the first world. So it's painful that we are not where we ought to be. However, there is hope that we can still get there.
Do you have hope because Muhammadu Buhari is president today, or why do you have hope?
Not so much because of Muhammad Buhari. In fact, if it is because Muhammad Buhari is in place, then our hopes are short-lived. It's not to say that I do not have confidence in his capacity to take us there.
Yes.
But he operates within a political arena. He's done over 1 year. For his first term, he has less than 3 years to go. And if what we have seen thus far is an indication of the matrix of his governance, we cannot be too excited being hopeful. But I must also add that if he's given maybe more time, yes, he could recreate a better Nigeria from what we have.
More time as in a second term to go beyond 2019?
Well, even his having his second term would be a little controversial or doubtful, because if today was 2019,
yes,
it's not likely to win a second term, because the experiences of Nigerians has not been exactly exciting because of the economic experiences and drawbacks they have had in recent times. For 29 years, we have not had an inflation that hits 17.1.
Like we have now.
Yes, like we have now. And it's even worsened because that was at the end of July. Between then and now, it may have gotten so bad. Look at the foreign exchange. So the indications and indices of the government are not very hopeful.
Yes.
But I'm saying that he has a goal. He may be slow at following it up.
Yes.
Maybe tepid. But I think he has a clear goal of what kind of country he wants. Nigerians are not very patient persons. We are not that blessed.
Yes.
We want quick attention. We are a quick fix people.
Yes.
So if there's no quick fix, then you're not doing it rightly. Enough to say that I think that given the way he's going, Nigeria is most likely going to get better, but time would be his major constraint.
Is he hampered by the political environment you spoke about now, under which he operates?
Yes, to a large extent. Even within his political family, APC,
yes.
All
Progressives Congress.
Congress, yes. There's some disenchantments. There's some causes of discord.
Yes. What do you think is responsible for this discord? We've seen them recently win the governorship elections in Ondo State. They looked unified there, and I'm using that reservedly. They looked unified. The only time we're seeing a lack of unity is going into the Ondo elections. So, why do you think there's disenchantment within the party?
Well, I think there is some level of disconnect between the rulership of the party and the followership. And this derives largely from a feeling of either a disenchantment or feeling of not having enough. Many of the party followers are asking, so
no rewards.
What's our own, to use the Nigerian parlance?
Yes.
What's our gain, having supported the party thus far?
Yes.
The board appointments are slow at coming, political appointments are slow at coming. Many parastatals are not filled with people from the party.
APC.
So the great expectation of even party men, I'm not talking of Nigerians, party men that, yes, we have a party in government, therefore XYZ should follow. We have not quite seen that. So that is driving.
Is it automatic, though, that because the party wins elections, all the positions must be peopled by members of that party?
No, it is not automatic. Neither do we even recommend that, because that is also what fuels political acrimony.
Yes.
Because if it's a winner takes all, then something is wrong. But enough to say that those who work hardest for a victory should have a feeling of that victory by way of getting appointments, getting jobs. It's unfortunate that the economy has also not helped the political drivers to be able to ensure a fair distribution of base. I'm sure some of the appointments are slow at coming because of economic reasons. By the time you appoint people into places, yes, they will draw salary, they will draw allowances, and a lot of things follow. Maybe the money is not exactly there.
And we've all witnessed recently the book launch in honor of the President, Muhammadu Buhari. A lot of people were looking forward to seeing the meeting of the national chairman, John Odigeo, and the former governor of Lagos State, Senator Bola Tinubus. I don't know what people expected to happen at such an event. But it again brings me to the question of the coming elections in Ondo State. Ondo State is due to elect a new governor on the 26th day of November 2016. Now, to give you a little background about Ondo State, it was created on the 3rd of February 1976, carved out of the old Western State. With a landmass of 15,500 square kilometers, Ondo State happens to be the first oil-producing state in the southwest region of Nigeria, now that Lagos State is also an oil producer. Its capital is Akure, and its current governor is Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, who belongs to the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Of course, the ruling party, the APC, is hoping to snatch Ondo State back from the PDP. The PDP is going into this election. I'm not sure which of the two candidates it's presenting. The Attorney General, Itai Ojegede, businessman Jimoh Ibrahim. We don't know which of those two will end up being the candidate on the day. But in the APC, a man has emerged, but there seems to be discontent within the party about that man. Do you think they will go into this election unified? Do you think Akeredolu can win this governorship election for the APC in Ondo State without the critical support of Bola Tinubus?
Well, without taking anything away from him, it must be acknowledged and declared that Tinubu is a rallying factor in APC in the entire Southwest.
Yes.
There is no doubting that. But also enough to say that the APC has a capacity to win. That political bloc had been controlled by the governor of Ondo State before. AD produced the governor of Ondo State at the time.
Yes.
And it was as a result of probably some mismanagement or political arithmetic of Obasanjo that it came over to PDP at the time. But enough to say that, yes, there is discontent within the APC in Ondo, but it is not for nothing. It's a political struggle for who holds the larger end of the ace. And in this case, Rotimi Akeredolu was said to have won the primaries. And having won, I think same days, all the other aspirants congratulated him and promised to work together with him.
Including Dr. Segun Abraham?
Yes, including Segun Abraham. But I think 48 or so hours after, things changed, because according to them, there were new findings to indicate that some of the delegates were not the appropriate persons to vote at that primaries. And so that has become the reason for a discord and a disquiet. In fact, leading to an appeal. There was an appeal to contest the outcome of the primaries. As it happened, 12 persons were on the appeal. 6 were said to have voted for the cancellation, while 5 voted for the upholding of the outcome of that election. I also understand that the national chairman of the party vetoed it and tried and upheld the outcome of the election. I think that is the basis of the quarrel that we are seeing openly between Bola Tinubus and ODIVWRI.
You do know that he called for the resignation of Oyegun through a public letter. Oyegun has said now famously at that book launch, I want to tell you his quote. He says, "There is no rift with Ashiwaju. We have difference of opinion, difference of perception. Yes, I agree that the nature of the statement was a bit harsh. The method of getting rid of a national chairman as spelled out in the Constitution, they don't take place on the pages of newspapers." End of quote. What do you make about that?
That was quite diplomatic, trying to put it very nice. Like the inference you're trying to draw earlier, when Tinubu released his letter calling for the sack or step down of Oyegun, certainly it created tension within the party.
Should he have done that?
Well, I do not think he should have done that because there are other channels of addressing whatever grievances he could have or he may have.
Yes.
But he also felt that he may not get enough justice since it's not exactly within the structure of the party. He as a person.
Yes.
There's no office as a national leader.
Yes.
It's
the
just a respected,
constitution.
yes,
Yes.
it's just a respected party chieftain.
So would you agree with those who say that publicly calling for the resignation of the national chairman was a result of his frustration within the party that he's not getting his due from the party?
I do not think so because there is nothing that happens within the APC structure, formally or informally, that does not get the endorsement of Bola Tinubus, either passively or actively. It's a centrifugal force within the party, and so nobody can either ignore him or push him around or
push him aside.
Yeah, push him aside. You can't shove him aside.
Yes.
He's quite central to all that goes on within the party.
Yes.
So I think he still could have exploited better option in addressing whatever grievances he had about the outcome of that appeal.
Yes.
Rather than doing an open letter calling for the sack of the national chairman. I think it was a little harsh, even to use the words of Oyebu himself.
Where then do we place the statement coming from the National Legal Advisor, Muiz Banire, who incidentally is a senior advocate of Nigeria? He shooed away the attempt to jettison Akeredolu's victory. He said overruling the decision of an appeal committee was something he had investigated and it was unheard of in our body of laws, you know. So Oyegu probably had a good leg to stand on submitting that name, at least based on the legal advice of the National Legal Advisor.
Well, you must realize that all of this are taking place within a political arrangement. Muiz Banire, to use a common parlance, is Tinubu's boy. He had served Tinubu before, so it also can be argued that he was the voice of Tinubu as a legal advisor to the party.
Yes.
Yes. So if his advice was discountenanced by Oyegu,
Yes.
it is also possible that he did not want to be railroaded by the opinion of Tinubu himself.
Yes.
Now let's put this in perspective. Election was conducted seemingly transparently.
Yes.
It was beamed live.
Live.
And before and immediately after that election, there was no reason to doubt the process whatsoever. Now, it is also instructive to know that the man who emerged from that process, Rotimi Akeredolu, was also supported very strongly by Asiwaju Bola Tinubus in 2011 for the same office.
Yes.
Yes, he became the candidate, but he didn't win the election. Now, the point to make is, what happened
Between then and
now that the same Tinubu who supported Akeredolu so strongly in 2011 will be so strongly opposed to him? Is it that loyalty has changed? Does he have greater faith in Segun Abraham to be more loyal to him than Akeredolu? And so if Tinubu is kicking against the emergence of Akeredolu, it's to be understood that, oh, this is a fellow I didn't support.
Yes.
Now he's the one who emerged. How can, to him, or to some political analyst, it chips off a large chunk of his political ego for him to fail to produce a candidate within the Southwest.
For his candidate to emerge.
Exactly. Because if somebody he worked against or failed to support eventually emerged, it's an indictment of his political capacity in the entire Southwest. So it is understandable that he will kick and be angry about the emergence of Akeredolu. But I think on the overall scale, they should consider the general and larger interest of the party to sheath their swords and ensure that they work together to produce development.
Join us again after the break. So what is 60 Minutes with Angela all about? It's not an interview. I like to think it's a conversation between two people making the news, people who are in the news, and those who become the news. And the whole idea is to inform, to educate, or to clarify, as the case may be. It is an art getting people to answer the questions that everyone is thinking in their minds. And that's what we try to do on 60 Minutes with Angela. I ask all the questions that everyone's thinking about and no one wants to voice. All the questions you always wanted to ask, you get those answers on 60 Minutes with Angela. Every week on this station, 60 Minutes with Angela, getting answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Nice question.
Angela, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
That is a serious question.
Angela, that is a very great question.
Great question, Angela.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Angela, that's a tough one for me.
That's a good question. Good question.
I love to ask questions. I think it's what I do best. You see, I think that the fastest way to learn anything is to ask questions. The right questions. Questions that help you get to the heart of the matter.
60 Minutes with Angela. Getting answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetomobi. On my hot seat today, ODIVWRI is a former deputy editor of Nigeria's This Day newspaper. So, staying with this Ondo matter, you remember that before the primaries, one Dr. Tunji Abayomi had written publicly to Asiwaju Tinubus complaining about his endorsement of Segun Abraham, and the famous response from Asiwaju saying, if it was you I had endorsed, you won't be complaining. I have a right to endorse anyone I want to endorse. An endorsement is not imposition. So if we take that and hold it to one side, doesn't that then expose a person when you've endorsed so openly and your candidate loses? Perhaps that magnifies the loss even more than it would have if you hadn't endorsed anybody. If you are national leader, you are deemed to be a father to all. Even if you have your preferences, a lot of people say he should keep it to himself so that when your preference doesn't emerge, you don't lose so much face. What do you think about that?
I do not share in the belief that he cannot make an endorsement. Yes, he's a national leader in the party, but I think he has the political rights and privilege to support whomever he wants to support based on his own judgment, which is not even open to public scrutiny. He may just have a preference for a particular person. If newspapers and media organizations can even have public endorsement of candidates or aspirants in an election, so I do not see what is wrong in a politician of that note endorsing whomever. But yes, I agree with you that the loss of the publicly endorsed person heightens the frustration and anger that comes with the loss of that person. In other words, were there no public endorsement, he could just take it in his strides and move on. But having, so to say, thrown in his image, his whole essence into the bout of that struggle, and then his candidate fails to emerge. Yes, there should be some bitterness, naturally. I think that is natural. So I think that is the root of the acrimony that is growing within the party.
And some are calling the emergence of Akeredolu as a subtle rejection of the looming influence of Asiwaju, especially now on the national stage. In fact, some are saying it seems that all his candidates always emerge, and it was a backlash to that made many support Akeredolu in Ondo State to emerge. Many people couldn't imagine another Tinubu candidate emerging in that state. Do you agree with them?
Yes, very clearly. I agree, and I share also in their reservations, because there's a feeling that the spread and depth of his influence is getting too enriched. as it were. If you recall, that was the basis of the rejection of his own candidate at the Senate. And same thing in the House of Reps. He had nominated, he had had candidates for the Senate presidency and the speakership of the House of Reps.
Yes.
But because the people were also afraid of the kind of hold and grip it would have on the government,
Yes.
there was therefore this conspiracy to reject his own candidates. And that was how Bukola Saraki emerged,
Yes.
and that was how Yakubu Dogara emerged against the choice of his own candidates. So everything put together, there is a feeling that the Tinubu content is too high and that his hold, the political matrix of the government will be toxic if it's not checked.
If it's not checked. So,
Yes.
do you think the APC is in danger of losing this Ondo election if they don't come together and stand behind Akeredolu?
Yes, there is that possibility. And that is why I also think that they have moral and political duty to put aside their differences.
Can Akeredolu win without Tinubu's support?
I do not exactly think so. But it is also not to say that as soon as Tinubu supports, then he will win. After all, in 2011, Tinubu gave all the support,
Yes.
but he still didn't win. Well, it will be a factor of several other indices. It depends on who eventually PDP produces and how strong PDP candidate becomes. And
Yes.
if APC's structure is fractured, then it will be a big threat to their overall victory.
Fractured, I like that word, because many people are saying that by the time we get to 2019, the APC as we know it today will no longer be in existence. Do you agree with them?
Well, it's difficult to say. Many people have thought that even before now, that APC probably would have now started either being degraded
Yes.
or disintegrating. But somehow they have been able to cobble themselves together. I should think a lot will depend on how the president himself plays political cards.
Is the president playing much politics, or
No.
he's aloof from politics?
He appears aloof. He appears indifferent to the political going on.
Is that a mistake on his part?
I think it is a misreading. It's a flaw, if you ask me. He is supposed to take more than passing interest in the political dynamics of the administration. He cannot pretend to just be concerned with pursuing thieves
Yes.
and leave the political flank open. The political flank governs government. The structures of government, there must be a good balance. There must be a good balance. And he must take more than passing interest in what goes on in the political stuff. Because if he leaves it all and either delude himself to think that, oh, that is for politics. Of course, he's a politician.
Yes.
So I think it will be a great disservice, even to his own political career, if he doesn't step in to take full charge of the party.
And of course, listening to the author of the book, in honor of the president, speaking on how Professor Osinbajo emerged as vice president, a lot of the listeners were shocked when he insinuated that Osinbajo wasn't Tinubu's candidate, but was in fact chosen over and above Tinubu as the vice presidential candidate. And then we wake up to a press release in Tinubu's Nation newspaper saying that in fact that account is untrue and that Tinubu turned down the opportunity to be vice president when he was offered it by Muhammadu Buhari after he emerged as the candidate of the party. Many thought, well, Tinubu was at the book launch. He had an opportunity right there and then to debunk the assertions in that book. Why wait until 2 days later to do so?
Well, two things I must say that are very clear. Again, Tinubu was a strong factor. First, in the coming together of the formation of the party, and then the overall emergence of President Buhari.
Yes.
Now, after Buhari emerged, Buhari knew how he emerged, the kind of base support he got from the likes of Tinubu,
Yes.
Rotimi Amechi, and the rest of it. And so he also didn't want to be too possessive of power, And so he threw open the choice of a running mate to the party. He said the party could nominate, that he didn't have any preference.
Yes.
It was clear.
Yes.
He made it clear that he didn't have any particular preference for anybody. That whomever the party gave him, to be fine by him. And so some names were thrown up, several names. Yes, Tinubu's name came up. But you know this is Nigeria.
Yes.
So many other factors come into play. If you leave every other thing, your ethnicity, your religion, they matter. It was only under Abiola that didn't materialize Hope 93, the SDP, that we had a Muslim ticket.
Yes.
Abiola and Kingibe, both Muslims, yes, yet they won. But that was in 1993. You wouldn't be trying that in 2015.
Why not?
It's not likely. Not after Boko Haram had hit the country. Not after we have had Mateksin. Not after we have had Shiites. Not after all these religious issues have come up so strongly to almost paralyze Nigeria. So it's clear that a Muslim ticket was not going to head anywhere. So fundamentally, that disqualified or weakened the possibility of Tinubu as a candidate, as a choice.
Yes.
Well, he appropriated, let me use that word, the power to produce a candidate for the president,
Yes.
the president-elect at the time. No, not the presidential candidate at the time. Don't forget, this is bloc politics. The entire Southwest was behind Buhari. The amount of support he got from either the Southeast and South-South did not equate to the support he got from the Southwest. So, if we're going to work with the arithmetic of that support base, Tinubu would also have an upper hand. Now, it was on the basis of that Tinubu was, I use the word, appropriated the power to produce a running mate to President Buhari. I do not think the author of the book, the prof, got it right when he said Osinbajo was chosen
by Buhari,
over Tinubu.
Yes.
No. I guess he remembers that Osinbajo himself was Attorney General of Lagos State when Governor Tinubu was Governor of Lagos State. So Osinbajo is a product, a protege of Tinubu.
Tinubu's School of Politics.
Yes, a product of Tinubu's School of Politics.
Yes.
So it is not that Osinbajo emerged on his own merit. I can almost swear that Buhari had no connection with Osinbajo. In fact, in one of those campaign rallies, was it in Imo?
Yes.
He couldn't pronounce Osinbajo's name. I mean, the president Buhari couldn't pronounce Osinbajo. That tells you that until then, there was no connect between the two of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is right for, it is correct account to say that Buhari chose Osinbajo over Tinubu and any other person. No. I think Osinbajo, and I know Osinbajo was a product of Tinubu's recommendation. But whether Tinubu was offered the choice to be a running mate himself is not known to the public. The much that we know was that it was thrown open to the party.
Yes.
And being a powerful leader within the party, he appropriated the powers. I am sure also that even if Tinubu had nominated, for instance, Rotimi Amechi,
yes,
I'm sure he would have sailed through. Yes, because he had that clout, exactly. He had that clout, he had that capacity. So whomever he nominated, as it were, came forth. And don't forget, some accounts have said, Buhari asked him to nominate 3 persons.
Yes.
And he nominated just Osinbajo, Yemi Osinbajo. And as it were, he became the vice president. And that is where we are. So I do not think it is a correct account to make it look like, there was a contest between Osinbajo, Tinubu, and some other persons, among whom Buhari chose Osinbajo. No, I think it's a product of an in-house selection headed by Tinubu.
Join us again after the break.
Nice question.
Angela, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
That is a serious question. Angela, that is a very great question. Great question, Angela.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Angela, that's a tough one for me.
That's a good question. Good question.
I love to ask questions. I think it's what I do best. You see, I think that the fastest way to learn anything is to ask questions. The right questions that help you get to the heart of the matter.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
So what is 60 Minutes with Angela all about? It's not an interview. I like to think it's a conversation between two people making the news, people who are in the news, and those who become the news. And the whole idea is to inform, to educate, or to clarify, as the case may be. It is an art getting people to answer the questions that everyone is thinking in their minds. And that's what we try to do on 60 Minutes with Angela. I ask all the questions that everyone's thinking about and no one wants to voice. All the questions you always wanted to ask, you get those answers on 60 Minutes with Angela. Every week on this station, 60 Minutes with Angela, getting answers to every question you always wanted to ask. Welcome back. My concluding moments now with Eddie ODIVWRI, former deputy editor. So why then does it seem to me to be as if someone somewhere or some people are trying to whittle down the influence, the clout of Asiwaju Tinubu within the APC? Is it a wrong perception that I have?
No, I don't think it's a wrong perception. Yes, traditionally, historically, there's political leadership, and people agree to this.
Yes.
That is the basis on which, till today, even several years after his death,
Yes.
Chief Obafemi Awolowo remains a political rallying force in Nigeria. So, but how you dispense that power, that influence, matters. Your generosity, your disposition, your openness
Yes.
in dealing with those who follow you matters. And a lot of times we are governed in politics by interest. A leader sees about 7 candidates, 7 aspirants, yes, out of these 7 followers of mine.
Yes.
Who is best fit for this job? He thinks, okay, Mr. A takes it, B, C, D down, doesn't take it, doesn't have it. So what constitutes his own thinking?
Yes.
Is it selfishness? Is it the overall interest of the group? Is it national interest? Is it narrow-mindedness? All of this will be judged by his own followers at his back. They won't say it in his presence. But when they leave, they will question
What
the
were
judgment,
the considerations?
the consideration that
Yes.
made our leader choose X over Y, generally. So in Bola Tinubus' case, I think there is a feeling that he's a political acquisitionist. He wants to appropriate so much and too much to himself in a way that he becomes the single most powerful man, probably nationally.
Even more powerful than the president?
Oh yes! What is generating all this fury within the APC is the statement of Bola Tinubu. If Tinubu says today is no longer supportive of the government, this APC, I can tell you that it will trigger multifaceted rancor, trouble, clashes, crisis within the party. So it's a strong force. And it is the amount of influence he wields across board
Yes.
that approximates and measures his overall value. If he cannot control, for instance, Lagos, then he will have no moral right to control Osun,
Yes.
or control Ogun, or control Ondo, or control Ekiti, or wherever.
Yes.
So Tinubu is a typical Nigerian politician who understands the mechanism of power, the power within power,
Yes.
and what to do with power. He understands this. So he's a good political power student, and he tries to maximize the effect and impact of his power on the entire polity.
And I cannot let you go without talking about the former First Lady, Patience Jonathan, you've been following the revelations, in the papers. Do you think she should be left alone? I've grown up seeing wives of presidents, wives of heads of state as off limits when it comes to matters such as this, investigations and so on. You think the EFCC should just leave her well alone and, not involve her in the case and cause a backlash, which many may consider to be an affront to her husband, who was the former president of the country?
No, I do not think so. I do not think she should be left alone. If she has a case to answer,
yes, and
there's a true, justifiable case, not witch hunting, not politically motivated, if there is a truly established case against her, yes, she should be made to answer her case. We have heard and seen several presidents, former presidents, jailed. We have seen even Mubarak, yes, in Egypt is still being tried. To say that, because he was the wife of the former president,
yes,
and she committed crime properly so established, and that she should be left alone, is to say that there's a sacred cow, is to say that some persons are above the law, is to say that, yes, we are all equal, but some are more equal. I do not think that is the philosophy of good governance.
Let me just read something to you that her lawyers said in a letter they wrote. Efforts are being made surreptitiously to indirectly harass or harangue and shortchange our client of her personal funds in breach of her fundamental human rights. So does the EFCC have powers to decipher the origin of such funds? I'm asking that because we all know, as a First Lady, she would have been receiving gifts. If these funds are funds that are a total sum of gifts she received due to the privilege of being the president's wife, how are they going to establish that it is proceeds of crime, for instance?
A common maxim in law says, he who alleges proves. So the burden of proof is on EFCC.
Right.
But enough to say that it is for the accused to go defend herself. If you have $15 million,
yes,
in your account, and you claim that there were gifts from certain persons,
yes,
within or outside Nigeria, say so. Show us the proof that there were gifts. Do not forget, a former minister in this same country was jailed for taking Lipton tea and a wristwatch as gifts.
Yes.
I'm referring to
David West, yes.
He was jailed in the same country. So if one woman, former First Lady,
yes,
receives gifts, in quotes, to that tune from wherever, and allegedly, she should go to court to say so. Or are they saying that her immunity, she never even had immunity?
No, she didn't.
She never had immunity. And even if she had immunity, it had long expired. So she should face the court to prove herself innocent. But don't also forget that even the statement you made,
yes,
it's been controversial. On one or two occasions, the former First Lady had disowned the statement from the lawyers. And don't also forget that the First Lady had also claimed that the money so found in her account was for her medicals.
Yes, but doesn't the federal government pay for the medical expenses of former presidents, their wives, and
Ideally,
4 children?
Ideally, they should. The former First Family is a responsibility of the federal government. Ditto, even governors. So it is, if she had any medical needs,
yes,
it should be borne by the government, by states.
Yes.
So, but much more curiously is, how could somebody save up $15 million for a medical condition that you are anticipating? You are not sick yet.
At the time you were saving it,
yes,
you were not sick yet.
You were not sick. Even now, she's not sick. But she says it was saved for medical reasons. So, is it that you're anticipating a sickness that will claim $15 million?
Later.
What kind of sickness would that be? What kind of saving? Who saves for sickness? That, okay, when I fall sick, I will expend XYZ amount. It looks foggy. It looks really foggy and funny. I don't think it's African. Not even in insurance schemes do you save for sickness. Yes, you could save for funeral. when you die. But to say, you don't know what sickness will come. You don't know what kind of sickness will come.
Yes.
So who told you to cure that sickness that you're anticipating, it will cost $15 million? How do you explain that? I think I found that very worrisome for the First Lady to say.
And once she came out to claim ownership of that money, following the plea of guilty by those that the EFCC had charged and arranged, did you think the EFCC needed not waste much time but to go ahead and arrest her? After all, she has confessed to ownership of money. You know, what were they waiting for? Are you one of those who thinks the EFCC should have moved in straight away?
You know, there is this word in English called expediency. The FCC probably in their own reckoning wanted to do it expediently in a way that it is not so openly translated to mean political persecution.
Yes.
Do not forget that about 2 months before now, former President Jonathan had told a foreign press that he is under investigation. And the general narrative within the PDP circle is that everybody in PDP is under probe, is being persecuted, all the people being arrested and charged are PDP loyalists and supporters. So now that it's getting to the president's doorpost, I think the FCC has just been a little more careful. But truly, I think it should be a matter of time. Because if former president's wife had admitted that those monies belong to her, there are other fundamental questions.
Such as?
One, the owners of those accounts, or those accounts where those monies were found, are not in Patience Jonathan's name.
Yes, well, and how did
in a driver's name, a house help's name, some other artisans.
So does that admission that the money belongs to her doesn't that amount to a crime, that you are running accounts that don't bear your name, don't bear your BVN, and you know, because you said you complained to the bank that these ATM cards are not in my name. I thought she should have returned the cards to the bank straight away until the mistake or the oversight is rectified before continuing to spend those cards until July 2016.
It is a matter of intent, ab initio. If the intent is to hide that saving, then she cannot necessarily surrender her secret to the bank, even though the bank should be charged for conspiracy, because the bank would have known
that she was spending it.
That she was spending from that money, or that she had access to the cards that could debit that account without being the owner, the formal and official owner of those accounts. So the bank should have known. So it is clearly an open crime if it is established that the name with which the account was opened is different from the person operating it, and who truly owns the money thereof in a different name, with different BVN number, with all the identities. And I think it is something that is quite smelly of crime. It's quite smelly of crime, and they complicate the issues for the former First Lady.
Do you think she should have just walked away from this money and left things as they are?
That would have saved her a lot of trouble. But $50 million will just go like that. I don't think she was ready to just sacrifice $15 million. And more, don't forget, they have much more that has not been revealed. She wouldn't have let it go like that. It would be a painful loss, if you ask me.
Thank you very much, Mr. ODIVWRI, for coming. Always a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I'm Angela Ajitumobi.